All right, guys, welcome back to the Deep Dig of Sports Pod. I'm your host, Drew, with my other host right here next to me.
What's up? It's D. Nice to see you again. Go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe. It really does help us out.
49ers have a game this week, a playoff game. 49ers Seahawks. How are you feeling about the Seahawks' chances against the 49ers?
So for those of you that are not currently in California, it has been insane weather. So San Francisco is basically underwater. It is might as well change its name to Atlantis. California in general is just basically, it has so much rain that they don't know what to do with it. So the longer that this rain goes on, and it is expected to rain on Saturday, I don't know what condition the field was in. I saw that they were doing some weird stuff where they actually took off the tarp and they had fans trying to air it out, big fans trying to air out the stadium, the grass. Someone was like, I'd never seen that before in my life. So with those kind of conditions, it does equalize things a little bit, but to be honest with you, I'm not really scared of the Seahawks. I think out of the three teams where it was coming down to, the Lions, the Packers, and the Seahawks, that was the team I was the least afraid of.
Yeah, and we just want to say, did we say like, comment, subscribe?
Yeah, I got that.
Oh, okay, cool. Never mind.
But go ahead and do it.
Like, comment, subscribe. No, I'll just cut this. Cut. If it is the weather going to be a big factor. We've seen it's affected this 49er team against the Bears. It's going to be crazy. I mean, power's been going out in San Francisco. Hope everyone is okay. I know my power went out in Sacramento. But if the weather is going to be a big factor in this game, it could really affect Brock Purdy. We saw how it affects Jimmy Garoppolo. We've seen how it affects Trey Lance. It just gives another factor that helps the Seahawks have a chance in this game. They have a great running back, Kenneth Walker. I fully expect the 49ers defense to really shut him down. We have a great run game. So, I don't know. Is it going to be that huge of a factor when these are two run-heavy teams? Especially the 49ers have been hot throwing the ball, but Seahawks have great young corners that are really coming into their own. If the passing game gets shut down, this turns into who can run the ball better. And how are you feeling about that matchup?
Not only that, but I think what it does is it also neutralizes Nick Bosa because he's basically going to be underwater. So that's one thing that was a really big factor in that Thursday night game against the Seahawks was that pass rush. And once Nick Bosa had one guy figured out, it was completely he took over the game. They could not drop back to pass. So that's one thing I'm going to be looking out for. How does Bosa look with the field and all the conditions? But yeah, as far as the run game, there are horses in the stable. Did you see Elijah Mitchell this past week?
Flexing on him.
He looked awesome. He hasn't played much this year, so he's raring to put his stamp on this season. Christian McCaffrey always looks good. Jordan Mason. If you just keep giving this guy the ball, he's going to keep making things happen. And even Deebo Samuel is back, so there's a lot that you could do. If let's say Brock Purdy can't throw it all, it's crazy. You have to specifically just run. There's a lot of guys who have a lot of talent on that team.
It's interesting you bringing up Jordan Mason because my thoughts watching the end of this last game, it was hey, the 49ers are going to pound the ball with Elijah Mitchell and McCaffrey all day, and then we'll put in our backups, and you have to tackle Jordan Mason and Ty Davis-Price. It almost feels like it's not a let up. We're not letting up on you. We're just yeah, these guys are our backups. They're going to beat the shit out of you. Sorry, but it's what we got to do.
Yeah, no, definitely. Those are two guys that run hard, and that they're trying to showcase anything to Shanahan, please give me some more runs. Shanahan, please feed me the ball a little bit more. So they got something to prove equally.
Yeah, and Debo's going to be fully healthy. Aaron Banks is going to be fully healthy. Defensive line should be healthy. So this is a game where essentially our team's going to be there completely. What worries me is if we do get into that passing game, Ufunga has had his struggles in the second half. Everyone's talking about it. Geno Smith broke Russell Wilson's record for most passing yards in a season as a Seahawk. How are we feeling about that matchup, Geno Smith versus our secondary?
That's one thing that even John Jay brought up in our last show is the familiarity, the rule of three, like, hey, it's really hard to sweep someone when you have 3 shots at them. And so that's the one thing I'd be a little bit concerned about is, okay, like they know what doesn't work. Now they're going to try different things to make sure that they optimize. Like, hey, what did we do in these like last few games that actually had us like get success? So that's like Geno Smith. I mean, it's weird because it's a team on the back half of the season that you knew was coming down back to earth, but they still squeaked into the playoffs. So you have to respect that, but not really too scared about it.
And, well, on the side of the Seahawks, you could almost say these last 2 games for the 49ers kind of showed some chinks in the armor of how you should be playing against this team. Or was it more of the 49ers packing it in for playoffs? Like, hey, these games don't really matter. The Raiders suck. Cardinals suck. We're not going to put everything out there for these games. And if we win them, great. If we don't, like, who cares?
Yeah, I think it was more of that. It was really hard. I think it was really hard to get up for that Raiders game. They made the switch at quarterback. They're kind of in shambles. It's more of like it was a very much trap game without it being a real trap game. And then same thing with the Cardinals. It's just more of like, hey, like survive in advance. This team is heading into the playoffs more like the healthiest they've been pretty much all season. So I'm excited for it. I think going into it, this is a team that every single team in the NFC is fearing, and they're hoping doesn't come across their schedule. And I think like we saw Pete Carroll's comments of like, unfortunately, we have to play the 49ers. I don't know if that's all like him doing it for show or if he genuinely means like, hey, we're just happy to be here. Pack it in, guys.
Yeah, I was fully expecting that. I don't know if it was like a story or a show, whatever, where the coach goes and tells the media like, hey, we're just happy to be here. And then he goes in the locker room and is like, if you think we're going to fucking let up on, like, he just starts ripping into the team. Mm-hmm. Is that Jimmy V from Survive in Advance?
I think so.
I think that's one of his. That's what I expect Pete Carroll to be doing is like, hey, the media, I'm going to tell them one thing, but the team, maybe in our locker room, we're going to try to believe. And so, you know, he knows though. The whole team knows that the 49ers are probably the best team in the NFC right now. And it's an uphill battle. When you lose to a team twice already, that has to shake you a little bit.
But not as much. I mean, we've seen the Rams do it last year. They beat the 49ers after the 49ers beat the brakes off them a couple times. So, but I mean, it's different. So different circumstances.
Leave a comment. Do you think the Seahawks even have a chance this game? What's the score gonna be? How much the Niners gonna win by?